have heard the news that Apple is soon to release a successor to their popular compact phone, the iPhone SE. It is supposedly going to rock the design of the iPhone 8 with updated internals likely in line with the iPhone 11. But with the release of the iPhone SE 2 or whatever it's going to be called possibly being delayed, should you still buy the iPhone 8 or should you wait? This is William from Wink Tech, and in this video I'll be going over the iPhone 8 and if it is still a good phone in 2020 or if you should even buy it. First of all, like any phone, you must take a look at the specs. The iPhone 8 is sporting Apple's A11 Bionic chip, which is definitely nothing to scoff at in 2020. It still handles day-to-day tasks with ease, and stuff like mobile gaming, taking 4K video, and web browsing works great. Unfortunately, it only has 2GB of RAM on the standard model and 3GB on the Plus model. However, with iOS's excellent resource management, the amount of RAM shouldn't really be an issue. The iPhone 8 still uses an LCD screen with a resolution of 1335 by 750 on the standard model and 1080p on the Plus model. The screens come with Apple's True Tone technology, which ensures the best colors on the screen based on the lighting in your environment, which is honestly an awesome feature for me. The pixel density is not great, some people notice but most people don't. If you consider yourself a pixel peeper, then just keep that in mind if you're thinking of buying one of these. To wrap up the specs, the iPhone 8 has an 1821 mAh battery and 2675 mAh battery for the standard and Plus models respectively. I'll get to the battery life a little later in the video, but right now I'm going to discuss the cameras. The 8 and 8 Plus both have a 12 megapixel main sensor with an f1.8 aperture. I would say that the iPhone 8's camera is still very good even today. Pictures come out sharp and with natural colors. The 8 Plus also has the benefit of a telephoto camera which enables portrait mode and optical zoom, both of which work well. The only weak point of these cameras are shooting in low light conditions since the iPhone 8 doesn't have any kind of night mode. On the video side of things, the iPhone 8 is still very good, and in fact my videos used to be shot on an iPhone 8. It goes up to 4K 60fps video, which is awesome, and it has optical image stabilization to get that smooth look. Overall, the cameras on the iPhone 8 will still be great for most people, and it holds up well even with fast improvements made in mobile photography. Next, let's look at the battery life on the iPhone 8, something that is very important on any phone if you plan on using it daily and for serious tasks. To be totally honest, the battery life on the standard iPhone 8 is not very good. I used to use the iPhone 8 daily, and at its best it would barely last me a day. Towards the end of my use of the iPhone 8, the battery had degraded pretty hard and I would have to charge it 2 to 3 times a day. The iPhone 8 Plus on the other hand has much better battery life and is known to be a battery champ. The benefit with the iPhone 8 is that I found it charged up pretty fast and it has wireless charging, which is convenient. Now before I give my final thoughts on the iPhone 8, I have a little clip from a fellow YouTuber which you most likely have heard of, and if not, I will link his channel in the description because if you are not already subscribed, then you should be. Now I'll hand it over to 91 Tech to see his thoughts on the iPhone 8 in 2020.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and Wink Tech asked me to give some thoughts on the iPhone 8, so that's what we're gonna do. Just a few general thoughts on the iPhone 8, how it holds up right now in 2020, and as you would expect, the iPhone 8 is kind of great still. It's really not bad. The smaller one's battery life can definitely be rough, and that's something to keep in mind, but it's running iOS 13 and it's running it well. We're probably looking at another few years of support, and probably a lot more of the positive, fast experience you've come to expect from an iPhone and from Apple. The iPhone 8 has held up really well, and when you look at smartphones from 2017, I think this will be remembered as one of the best. Now yes, it is older looking, it does have the home button and the bezels, but some people prefer that, and that's totally understandable. Not everyone wants to move over to the new full screen notch design, if you can still call it new, and the iPhone 8 right now is still a pretty darn good in-between device for those not quite ready to make the jump. Now whether or not the iPhone 8 is still worth buying really depends on your specific situation. I'd say the 8 Plus in most cases isn't, as the iPhone XR is only $50 more on Apple's website, but the smaller iPhone 8 can really serve as a good phone for someone who doesn't need to do too much. I think of my grandfather specifically, he has an iPhone 8 and it's doing great for him. For people like that, the iPhone 8, which is a phone that you can often find for sales and stuff like that, is just a really good choice. I think that it's going to be a smooth experience for them. They're not going to have a lot of complaints, and it also has a pretty good camera, so that's important for people. Overall, the iPhone 8 is still kind of great, and I don't think there's much else to say. It's a phone that you can find solace in knowing that you have another few years of great usability before it finally becomes unsupported, and that alone is pretty darn great, especially considering the S8 and the Note 8, phones from 2017, the same year as the iPhone 8, already don't run the latest version of Android. So all things considered, iPhone 8 definitely has held up pretty darn well. But with that, I'm pretty much done here, so thanks Wink for having me on, and I'll turn it back to you.
Huge thanks to Josh from 91 Tech for sharing some of his thoughts on the iPhone 8. I agree with everything Josh said. The iPhone 8 is still a very good phone, even in today's standards, and will definitely be satisfactory to anyone who doesn't need the latest and greatest smartphone, and doesn't want to pay those kinds of prices. With all this in mind, how does the iPhone 8 hold up in daily use? I would say it holds up fairly well when compared to the latest iPhone and other new smartphones. Yes, the design and screen is a little outdated, but the processor and camera are certainly not. It works nearly just as good for daily tasks and does so at a fraction of the cost. If you consider yourself to be a power user and burn through battery during the day, I would say you shouldn't get this phone and you should offer something a bit newer. However, if you don't think you need the latest and greatest but you still want a solid phone for daily tasks, or you just like the compact size, I think you will not be disappointed with the iPhone 8. Well, that's about it for this video. What are your thoughts on the iPhone 8? Do you have one or plan on buying one soon? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing. Also, thanks again to 91 Tech for helping out with this video, so make sure to subscribe to him as well. Anyway, this has been William from Wink Tech, and I'll see you in the next video.